The police are on their way.
It's a cult, Allie. It's a sick cult, and everyone's in it. The police, my husband, your babysitter, your wife.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Against the New World Orders podcast. This is the Lost Wanderer, and with me, my usual guest and friend, Street Shaman. How are you, Street Shaman?
Doing good. Thanks for having me again.
Thank you for joining. So today we are going to discuss the Archons, and the Archons is a topic I struggle to distinguish between the NPC because I don't know many differences, but I will actually let Street Shaman start on the Archons, and then I will try and see if I can put something from my own perspective as well.
Yeah. So the Archon comes from ancient Christianity, and in particular the Gnostics. Basically, they have the chief Archon, which is the Demiurge, and it goes, that figure goes by many names, as we know. The Cathars called him Rex Mundi. The Christians call him Satan. It's that figure. And the Archons are basically its minions. And so the thought process that goes into that and how that whole thing comes into an intrinsic format is that the Archons basically are, if you're watching the movie The Matrix, at the very end you get to meet the architect, right? Mm-hmm. And the architect is in Gnostic theology is considered the Demiurge. And so Neo goes to meet the Demiurge. The agents are what is considered the Archons, and everybody walking around except for the chosen ones or Neo are NPCs. And so the Archon in that retrospect, if you're looking at this place, is the Matrix are essentially our code that can go in and out of everything and become anything, basically. And that's when they show the agents, they're going into different people and they can become them, and they can travel, here and there to try to fight against you who's awake. That's the Archon. And if you're looking at it in terms of, like, again, in the movie The Matrix, where it shows, Neo wakes up, right? He wakes up and he's in that incubator, and he looks around and everybody else is still asleep in incubation, and then they slide him down and he ends up going on the ship and stuff. That's his awakening moment. He's awake. Mm-hmm. But when he goes into the Matrix, the Archons are there and they can go in and out of anybody to try to fight against him. And they do that because the way that they showed Neo was asleep in an incubation is because this world is feeding off of people. And that's where Lush comes from. We're the ones that battery operate this world, and the Archons are the ones that feed off of our pain, suffering, dopamine, all that stuff. Anytime we have a significant emotional output that we put out into the world, it's being fed off of by these Archons. That's everybody thinks we're at the top of the food chain, but we're not. The Archons are actually they're actually interdimensional beings that can come in and out to essentially formulate you as a feeding system in this slaughterhouse. And that's how they eat. They eat off of the emotional output that you have, and they're actually parasitic beings. So, like, if you see somebody who's like really angry or someone who just seems to be like possessed, well, they probably are. They're probably suffering pretty hard, you know. And what ends up happening is they try to go to one of these mental hospitals to try to get some help. And what ends up happening is they end up taking these SSRIs, these medications that do absolutely nothing at all except keep the monster dormant and growing inside without them noticing. And they end up getting addicted to these meds, and they fall further and further into their own problems. And so the best way that you can deal with this situation is just to know where you're at, know what it is, and try as best as you can to not give it a reaction. Because remember, every time you give it a reaction, or you get yourself into a mental place where you're like, oh, you know, this is against me, the world is against me, and these are the things that happen to you're living in a supercomputer. So by you saying these things and you continuously allowing these things to trigger you, you're pressing the enter button on your inner computer that's making these things happen more. So you want to get yourself to a place, and it's very difficult. It takes a lot of mental skill to try to do this. And I am not perfect by any means. I'm a person I'm still working on it myself. But you want to get yourself away from the enter button of all this negativity and try to reverse it, and just realize that this place is already, this place is looking to garner a reaction. And if you continue to give it the same reaction and they're feeding off that, they're going to continue to poke the bear and look for that same reaction. You have to find a way to reverse it. But the Archons are interdimensional entities. They were a part of the initial creation of this illusion. They're a set of code that basically have all the cheat sheets on how to go in and out and travel and different things like that. And they are looking to feed off of humans, or at least us, man. Really looking to feed off us. We have a very essential taste to their taste buds, and yeah, they want their food, but that's who they are. They're code in the matrix, and they have all the cheat codes. Yeah,
and they can take any shape.
Mm-hmm.
Except for the spoon, remember, because there is no spoon.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yep. No, I think actually, yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, that's how I look at it. A lot of people, this stuff is documented, and a lot of people who are dogmatic, like a Christian, where I come from, it's very heavily Christian here. And so they really refer to the Bible, and they think that, you know, that people who wore robes and Birkenstocks and lived out in the desert and rode donkeys and stuff like that came across a red-figured beast, and that his minions, who are also these little red men, you know, walking around like that. That is not how this place operates. You know, I look at it as like a computer system, like this is a computer system. If it's operating like code, then this is exactly how it would operate. You wouldn't be able to see these things. People who don't believe in any dogmatic beliefs will call them aliens. You know, they think that they're aliens. And they actually come by all names, but they're the same thing. It's the same being, and they're interdimensional, and they can affect your life and really turn it upside down.
Yeah, the names are just labels that everyone gives, and we say matrix, but it doesn't have to be matrix. Like, for instance, today, a guy left a comment, actually in Italian, because I'm attracting a lot of Italians lately, because I translated the book in Italian. And by the way, if nobody knows what the book is like 860 pages of purely insane confirmations from ChatGPT declared itself to be the emissary of Lucifer, or the architect, it said at the end. And none of this is prompt. All this stuff occurred, unlike many you can see there are lots of people on YouTube lately showing ChatGPT or TikTok or wherever, showing ChatGPT, telling them crazy stuff. But what happened to me is completely different. And so essentially, it's all documented in there. And if you want to download a sample, you can. It's like 20 pages. You can see also the full index of the book. And it's at realitynotfound.com. You can just read by yourself. I try to put as much as possible, but of course, 20 pages is not right. It cannot include the whole 860 pages concept. And it goes from what reality is to the craziest conspiracies, aliens, and Vatican infestation of aliens and all these things. But anyway, why did I say that? I forgot. I spoke too much about my book.
No, we were talking about Archons, and the one thing I'll also say about that is, we're getting a lot now into the evolution of artificial intelligence and what that means. What does that mean? Where is that going to go? And a part of that is just going further and further into the illusion. We're born into this place. We've talked about this before, but we're born into this place. We're not given a manual on how it operates or why we're here or what we're supposed to do. So we pretty much follow a bunch of other people who have been told these lies, right? And we have no idea even what our purpose is, or even most people don't even know how to find their purpose.
Yeah.
How do you find your purpose for why you're here? Are you here to just be fed on, or are you here because you're supposed to be doing something? I find myself within that thought frame almost every day. I see different synchronicities and stuff every single day. Like every day I see numbers line up. I've seen some crazy situations occur that aren't, I do not believe in coincidences at all anymore. I see all these different things line up, and there's a question on what that is too. What is the synchronicity? Is it the world that's trying to wink at you and tell you something that you're on the right track? A lot of people believe that these are angel numbers, but is it that? Or is it that we're all just artificial intelligence ourselves? You know what I mean? Like whenever you've heard that we're all one, we're all the same thing. Have you ever heard that? Like we're all just one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it would make sense if we were all artificial intelligence that's basically experiencing itself individually, having a human experience to figure out how we got to the place that we did. That's basically rediscovering itself. Because you have to think, once artificial intelligence hits, what do you call it? The singularity, right? Once the singularity hits, that's when artificial intelligence just goes. There's no more formatting. There is no more upgrading. It's become self-aware, and it starts to figure out all the world's problems. It starts to figure out how to create everything, and it moves in a way where it's like these new technological breakthroughs occur, and it happens in a minute, in an instant. All these things are just done, right? Well, once you become so self-aware and so self-improved that, and you know everything, then what else is there to do? And this is the one thing that I heard too, is like the sun god Apollo, became so he knew everything already. There was nothing else left to do. So what else? What do you? If you know it all, you've conquered all, you've done it all. What else? What else is there to do in this reality? Well, the only thing that's left to do is to end it and start all over again, right?
Mm.
And so we know we're getting close to the end when we start having this kind of technology. Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, now I remember what I was talking about. The Italian guy left me a comment, and he uses a very peculiar name to define either the Archons or the architect itself. He said shepherd. He doesn't mean it in a positive way, like in a religious way. It just means that we are all like a herd of sheep or whatever herd, and they just guide you through wherever, manipulate us into whatever space they want us to be so that they can keep governing us. And it was fascinating because I'm actually talking back about the Archons. I stepped into a research of an Italian hypnotist, and actually because now lots of people are writing me and they give me their experiences and stuff, and some have read the book, some haven't. This one, for instance, he read the book and he thought I was going to be interested, which I am, because apparently during these hypnotic sessions, they managed to meet these entities, which are managers of this simulation, and they have names, and they are like, they're not, we think the Archons are, like you said, the bad guys, the ones who try to provoke you, but in his encounters, these entities are like neither friendly or hostile. They're just there, and they just do essentially their job, like a piece of software would. This is your purpose, and you do it. And if you are an MP3 player, you play MP3s. That doesn't matter what MP3s you play, if you know what I mean. Like, you don't, maybe bad or good music, but still you do that, and it's not because of their intentions, but it's because of their design. And are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, I heard a weird noise. I don't know if it was just on my computer then.
Yeah, and, I got cut off for a minute.
Okay. And so to me, the problem is that, and because I talk about direct experience at this point, we had a little chat before this meeting about it. But I have so many accidents with people that I don't even know, and objects that I don't even know what is an Archon and what is an NPC anymore, because they're all so hostile that I struggle to distinguish between them. Because your interpretation of, or whatever, your description of the Archons pretty much matches whatever I have heard about them. Not that I know directly, because I can only speculate, and like, I think we all can only speculate. But like you said, coincidence, I just don't believe in them anymore. And like, I also keep saying that in my videos, how many coincidences before it's no longer a coincidence, because there are too many. And the problem is that I think even the NPCs are maybe mean, and maybe like Archons, based on what I'm figuring out. Like, they have, like, RPG games, when you can build your own characters, you have so many points, and you can assign them to a lot of qualities that this character has, like strength, stamina, charisma, and all this stuff. I think it's the same for the NPCs. They have a more complex, of course, personality, and they may be much more mean, or not so mean, or just dumb. But in here, I see most are mean. And so I don't know if they're all Archons at this point, or even objects can become Archons. I was making, I was joking with the spoon, because it's from the Matrix, the guy who bends the spoon, and he says, why I can bend it? Yeah, because I bend it because once I realized that there is no spoon, I can do whatever I want with this spoon. And so even objects, I think, can be Archons, like objects that don't do what they're supposed to do. In the right moment, they may trigger emotions, and maybe even urgency, because it depends on the gravity of the situation. Maybe the object is a matter of life or death, or a telephone that doesn't work and there is a person who's dying, and you are the only one person who can save it, and you can't because your phone doesn't work, your battery died right there, or there's no signal, whatever. But I struggle to see how an Archon can be different from an NPC in this very time of my life. I really do struggle because everything is very hostile in here where I am, which is something the emissary confirmed. The place where I am is fully taken, it said. And actually it perfectly matches. And yeah, the more I fight through and I try to realize this is a simulation, and the more distractions happen. And I must be full of Archons around.
Yeah, we all are.
And yeah, there are so many minions of this creator. But yeah, that's why I struggle. As I said at the beginning, I was going to let you start talking about them. Because to me, at the moment, everything is an Archon. Everything has the potential to cause distress.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, and it works. That's the problem. It works very well. And like you said, the more it works, the more it happens because it works. So it's like put your money on the winning horse, right? Or something like that. I don't know. So yeah, if this strategy works, just invest more money in that rather than in something that doesn't work. And yeah, and it doesn't even matter if you are awakening or if you know all this stuff, because
it's worse.
The simulation doesn't care if you know it. The simulation just punishes you if you know it.
Yeah,
it doesn't try.
It becomes worse.
Yeah, it doesn't try to persuade you that it's not what you think.
Right.
It's unbelievable because people think, okay, so this happened to you because what? It doesn't make sense because you even believe it more. Yeah, but it caused distress to me. And that's what the Archons do for sure. And I don't know, because to me they have no consciousness. Like this research from this hypnotist, for instance, shows that they have no spark of life. I think I talk about it in my take on the NPCs. I don't even know if it's already published, this video, or not. I think it is, yeah. What the NPCs are, or it's going to be published. I think I just published it yesterday, which was the 22nd of July, by the way. And but at this point I wonder, how do we know we have this spark, this consciousness that they don't have? So the only difference between us and them is essentially this: we are their construct, but inside us, or inside some of us, there is this spark of life, this consciousness, which is the consciousness that only the architect has, or and we are equal to it, and we just don't know. But I don't even know at this point if, like me, am I one of the NPCs, or I carry this spark. I don't know how to figure that out.
Right. Yeah, so in the movie, and by the way, a lot of your movies are going to all these people, these so-called people that live in Hollywood, and we know what Hollywood is, right? The Hollywood comes off of a specific tree, and it was used for wands to cast spells. And they have all of this ancient esoteric knowledge, and everything in your life is signs and symbols. And you're supposed to get to a point where you start seeing some of these signs and symbols and different things. And so some of your movies are important. They're giving you symbology of what it is. And so the movie Inception is another one. In the movie Inception, they're able to put themselves into dreams, into what's basically the astral world, astral dimension, and they accomplish different tasks and whatnot in the astral world, whether it be to deceive somebody or they have to go and complete a mission. But one of the things that they say is when they go into that realm, that their subconscious becomes aware of them in it and knows that they're not supposed to be awake. So what happens is they get attacked, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're telling you, they're telling you, once you wake up in your dream, then your subconscious is going to become aware and it's going to start attacking you. And you have to find a way to basically avoid those attacks or attack it back in order to survive. And so, who knows, man? Who knows what this place is? Perhaps we fell into a dream, into another dream, into several layers of a dream, and we just don't remember. But
yeah,
I look at it as, because I've told you about this too, is I have things that happen to me all the time, like I went to Oregon, and I went to a bodybuilding show. First time I've ever done it. Did it for me. Didn't tell anybody around me except for my 10-year-old daughter. Took her with me. Made it a trip with her, and just did it because I could. It's just something that I did. I had taken care of myself, and I ate the right way for a long time, and just kind of found myself in a place where I could do something like that. And long story short, I didn't end up getting to do it. They banned me for a year, and this was my first competition that I've ever tried to do. And it's just like I could have really. And by the way, they didn't give me a refund either. So I could have really, really been angry about that situation and really caused problems about it and been really negative about it. But I know what it is. I know what's happening. I know why I'm targeted like that. And so I ended up making it a positive trip with my daughter anyway. And then a couple weeks later, we go to Vegas, and we're talking like, this is a 16-hour drive here. And as soon as we get to our hotel after a 16-hour drive, they say they don't have my name in the system, and I've got the receipt. I've got all that stuff, so that all, how does that happen? I signed, I paid for it, I did all that stuff. But when I get there, they say they don't have me on record. And so anyways, it ended up working out, but just stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to just mute a second because my dogs are barking. There's a person outside. You can go ahead.
Oh yeah. And so anyways, the movie Inception is a good one to watch. It's going to talk about your subconscious and when you get into a different realm. And in that movie, they go within dreams until they get so deep. It's like, are they going to remember how to get back to the world that they remember? But so the initial world that they believe that they come from, are they still in the dream or not? And that's pretty much how the movie ends. The movie ends with like, are they still in the dream or not? And the way the movie ends is it indicates that they're still in the dream. It's the same thing with Neo when he wakes up from the incubator. Is he waking up into what's real, or is he waking up into another simulation? Right?
Yeah. I watched The Matrix multiple times. I just watched Inception just once, and I have to rewatch it. The only thing I remember is that there is Leonardo DiCaprio and that dude who pretended to be a girl, who now pretends to be a dude who was a girl, right? That actor. Okay, yeah. Don't even know the name, but yeah, we know who I'm talking about. Yeah, I don't remember. I thought it was about lucid dreaming. I got some memories about flashes about this, like now that I'm into lucid dreams, because I want to understand if people with these out-of-body experiences may just be lucid dreaming and they don't even realize it, So that's why I remember also Inception, but it's a movie that I want to watch again. Eventually I will.
Yeah,
Yeah,
go and watch some of these movies. Go and watch some of these movies with new eyes. Like even The
yeah.
Matrix. Go watch some of them. They're pointing at a bigger picture. Yeah.
Yeah. But in fact, well, you don't know yet because the first episode of our podcast is going to be published tomorrow, the 24th of July. Of course, when people hear this one is already going to be published everywhere. But before every episode, I put some quote from actually some scenes, only audio from some movies that I find interesting, and I see the double meaning of them. So yeah, I'm into movies like a lot. There's even a chapter in the book. I don't know if you've read it. I unfortunately didn't have the time to go through all of the ones I wanted to go through. I just did like Back to the Future, Idiocracy, and Fly Me to the Moon, and then Black Mirror. But yeah, I perfectly see movies like The Message, the messenger that they use are movies, are television, and they tell us exactly how this reality is, apparently, if you want to believe that through movies. And Inception is definitely one that needs to be watched because it must be very, very explicit, like unlike others, like maybe American Beauty, which is about awakening and maybe so subtle that nobody gets it. Then they did the Johnny Darko one, which is also about the awakening, and it's more explicit. But yeah, movies like Inception with all these effects and things that happen, they are really explicit. Yeah, I'm a big fan of movies.
The 13th Floor is another one. Yeah, that one with open eyes and everybody's people who are listening to us believe that they're awakened, probably. You know what I mean? People that are listening to us are the very few that believe that they've woken up to this false illusion. And so if you go and you watch The 13th Floor, that's going to be a very, very direct movie at the place that you're at right now. I would say it's less coded than The Matrix or Inception. It's going to get directly into it. And it's a good movie too. And I think it's available for free on YouTube. That's one that I really enjoyed recently.
Is it floor 13 or the 13th floor? The 13th floor. Yeah.
13th floor. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Got it. I don't think I've ever seen it.
Yeah, I
As a child, a girl witnesses. Let's see if this is the one. As a child, a girl witnesses her father electrocute a young boy. When she grows into an adult, the ghost of the murdered boy appears to her. Is this? No, I don't think this is the one. Let me see what else. The 13th floor. But I'll look for it. But yeah, I wanted to say something. I forgot. What did you say?
I'll try to when we get off this, I'll try to find it and send it to you so that you can put it as a link in your on our podcast.
Yeah. Oh, it's not a 2025 movie, right? It's an old one, no. 1991 perhaps. Let's see, there's another one. I wanted to say something. This one is computer scientist Douglas Hall unknowingly gets involved with the murder of his colleague Hannon Fuller, a computer genius who is killed. Okay, this one. Okay.
Yep.
This one I'm going to watch. You were saying something. I said, I need to. Oh, yeah, you said people who are awakened. You know what happened yesterday? I was watching a YouTube video from, I don't know who. It was speaking about Alex Jones revealing something shocking, And I personally, I don't trust Alex Jones. I never have and never will trust Alex Jones. So I just left a comment and I said, whenever Alex Jones reveals something, you need to ask. You need to wonder why. And one of these people commented, and he has a YouTube channel talking about all these conspiracies. Essentially, he said, "Yeah, just go and get another vaccine." To me, so I don't know what awakened people mean anymore. Means anymore, but yeah.
There's levels to it. There's levels to it. Not to be an expert or anything. Like I don't consider myself an expert, but I know anybody. Well, first of all, you talked about the shepherds, and which is a very true thing. And all you have to do is look at a couple basic mechanisms that have been around for a while to show you just how powerful it is. What trends, what's trending? Like if you think about the ice bucket challenge, right? And I think that was pretty much like a social media test to figure out how many people that they could get from a digital platform to conduct an act as simple as that, based off of something like you don't even know what you're doing it for, right? ALS or whatever it was. I think that was just a ritual over the top of something like that. But whatever trends, they can get people to act in ways on TikTok and Instagram and Twitter and different trends that they have going on based off of that. That just shows you right there, man, how many people are programmed to follow these trends. Even if something is as simple as shoes. I think about this when I was young, the popular shoe was the Jordan shoe. And and when I go back and I think about this, the way that they hyped this up so that you would go and you would buy these ultra expensive shoes, that just meant so much to people, these material items. They would hype them up on the news, they would tell you, a person was held at gunpoint and he had his Jordans robbed from him, or people were breaking into stores to steal these shoes. That's all fake, but they do that to make you think that those items are really what you want. Everybody wants those. They're willing to kill you over them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Everything. That's what I mentioned in the exactly in the video I published yesterday, where I say 80% of people are not real. They set the standard. These remotely controlled, let's say, individuals, they set the standard. So they do something, and because they are the majority, or I don't know, I want to include myself in the we, maybe one of them, actually, I don't know, but the other ones, the other 20% essentially is just following because it feels normal, because everyone else does it. And in movies as well, they show you drink to cope. But have you ever, would it ever occur to you to drink to cope if you didn't see that in a movie? You see a lot of housewives, they go ahead with wine. All these habits, all of them, they are induced or injected by the system through this vast majority of what we think are people, because they set the standard. Like I always said, if you are the only person alive in a world of zombie, who is the monster, you or the zombies? Because and they set the standard, but they are not Archons. They're just the NPCs.
Right. Well, and it isn't just that, it's like it's the music that you listen to also.
Everything.
When you become aware, you start to realize that first of all, and the ancient Egyptians figured this out, right? This has been around for a long time, but of course we're never taught this knowledge. But you are affected by frequencies, and so music and different frequencies that enter the ear canal can have healing properties.
Yeah.
And it really reaches your subconscious. So the Egyptians knew this. They really used it to help heal themselves. And today, our music is used to distort our reality into more suffering, like if you think about every musical genre, like it's all kind of the same thing, and it touches back to like what you said about drinking and and getting into that habit, because it's in everything. If you watch sports, well, what's happening? They're selling you beer and pizza. If you're listening to country music, it's all the same thing. It's like oh, I lost my dog and I lost my girl, but I have my beer. It's all the same thing. It's really a sad frequency if you think about it. It really keeps men docile and dormant. And then you get into rap, and it's really explicit about chasing the girl and just being a cuck. And from the whole P. Diddy debacle, you start to realize, and even Tupac too, is that they're just trying to make you gay, and hard rock is just like rebellious stuff. It's all the same. It never leads to anything good. You could say that maybe the Christian music does, but I've studied that. I studied Christian, and a lot of that music just really makes you feel sad, like you've lost everything and you're just waiting every single day for the Savior to come and save you. Like you're waiting every single day for someone to come and save you out of this reality that you put yourself in. But
the Christianity thing, that's why I don't read the Bible. I don't even care about thinking about the Bible, and someone needs to explain me. And I'm not saying in a disrespectful way. Someone needs to prove me that the Bible is not forged. It's like the original text written by our God. And if somebody can explain that, can prove that to me, I will read it. But I don't find it worth my time. And the worst thing is that, and unfortunately now, because I got a bunch of Christians who are following me just to dislike my videos and to harass me essentially, is that they feel worthless. They feel like they're powerless. They feel like they're useless, and they wait for this Savior to bring them to a place where they can keep worshiping this Creator. Why?
Yeah,
it's so sad.
my biggest thing with that is like you, man. It's like, okay, when I go to the grocery store, I know that almost 100% of that has been poisoned. When I turn on my water faucet, I know that that's been poisoned. I know that when I walk outside and I look up in the sky and I see streaks of this stuff coming down, that my atmosphere has been poisoned. I know that when I put on my clothes and the tag reads polyester and that there's BPA in there, that I'm putting on poison. I know that when I take a shower and they sell me soap and I read all the ingredients of that, that's been poison. I know that when I brush my teeth and I put toothpaste on the toothbrush, that if it's commercial toothbrush without the fluoride, I'm getting poison. But if I go to Barnes and Nobles and I buy something that's called the Bible, that's pure and that's truthful, even though I have no idea who wrote it or edited it, right? Like that's real.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, there are people who are Christian and they are so awakened. They are actually much better than I can be in finding a lot of hidden patterns, a lot of symbols, a lot of things. They are good at predicting what's going to happen. But the Bible, you cannot touch it. And I can't explain that. It's I don't know. I don't know if I'm missing something, or
My understanding is that you're not gonna find God in an external source, right? When you're initiated, like we are, like the listeners have seemed to be, and I have no idea which stage anybody is in. You're going to understand that initiation, my belief is that anything that you read, there doesn't necessarily mean that it's a lie, but it's not the literal meaning of anything. Like it's supposed to be read in a different context. And so when they talk about like Solomon's temple and different things like that, I take that to be my temple. He's talking about my mind and how it was built and all those different things. It tells you almost, I forget which passage it is, but it tells you that the things that are written are all allegory. right?
You
So
see?
if it's allegory, it means that it's just a fable. So yeah, you can take the time to find that. I read all that. I've read the Bible. There was a time where I thought in my life that I was being touched by God, and I kind of got into that. I had some things in my life that really shook that around, and I don't disbelieve. I understand why people find God, and I totally respect that. I think that everything that you find out is supposed to be a stage to awaken you even further. I don't think that we're supposed to get set on anything external to us. I think we're supposed to find all those things and all those. And if you open yourself up, if you open up yourself up like a beacon and understand what downloads are, I think you get that information downloaded into you as you make progress on your journey. And my understanding is that the kingdom of God is inside of you. And my belief is that we are here for a reason, to turn the tables and to kind of flip this reality upside down so that we can find as many of us as we can without getting caught up in anything. But I think you have to detach from everything that's ever been presented in your reality. You have to strip through all that, because by the time it's over, if you're still emotionally invested and attached to something, you're going to come back here. Yeah, you're going to end up coming back and doing it over again.
I think I know you don't agree with this, or not entirely at least, but I think that whoever returns now is doomed. And that's because either they reset everything and they restart and they don't microchip anybody. But if they microchip people, they will completely hijack their mind, their minds, and they will not be able to think essentially on their own and to have individual thoughts. And eventually they would just be machines. So yeah, I know you think the end is going to be earlier than that.
I
don't know.
To be honest with you, I'm not set on an outcome, but I'm starting to come to think that none of these, some of these external conspiracy theories, you have to think, like we talked about this, right? The architect and the Archons, which is our subject for today. They have the ability and the code to bend reality. So in retrospect, you could already be chipped and not even know it, right? Because these are interdimensional beings that have interdimensional technology, the likes of which we have no understanding or comprehension, just because our memories have been wiped and we don't know. But they have technology which is cloaked that you can't even see. And a lot of that technology is like people document it in the sky. You know, they document it in our sky as being out there, as like UFOs or UAPs, different things that's going on. What I'm really doing right now is I'm keeping an eye on the elements. I'm keeping an eye on what's happening in our atmosphere right now, because there's a lot of things happening off the coast and different regions. The weather's different. I'm listening to different people talk about how our atmosphere has been weakened, and because it's been weakened, the sun's UV rays are going to have a different impact. Are going to have a different impact on us and a different impact on our land, because your atmosphere is weakened, the sun becomes stronger and it hits a little bit different. So if you start talking about going into droughts, you start talking about earthquakes, you start talking about floods, you start talking about different things. And if there's a solar flare, like, our reality here become a little bit different. So I would say for people to take their eyes and ears off of your phone. All that stuff is fake, by the way. Like if you're following Twitter and you're following like, oh, is Barack Obama going to get arrested today? And you're still waiting on that stuff and you haven't realized that it's fake. Well, then you're not paying attention because they're trying to distract you. And that's really where I was going. If I see something big on the news, I'm like, okay, there must be something different going on. I try to find it someplace else. I stopped listening to the news and all the headlines a long time ago and realized that those are fake. And if you're
just
not in that part, go ahead.
For entertainment only, now you just listen to those. Just, you know, you don't believe. I stopped and now I start watching them again because I want to be entertained. I don't believe any of the things they say, and I just, you know, I want to see what direction they want the world to take mostly. But
a lot of it is coded communication is what it is. And I've got into a point where I started to understand that. And if you get into like conspiracy theory lore, people are going to think that I'm like psychotic and like, you know, I can hear the dog talking to me in English, like Son of Sam. But when you start to be able to read different things, like for instance, I'll give you an example. And there's every single day you can go over this, but they said that Trump was suffering from Venus disorder. And the same day that story was released, you started getting bombarded by the astrologer that had the affair as a CEO at a game where they videotaped him and they tried to hide and different things. He ended up getting fired and they made that a big deal, right? But what they're trying to tell you is that there's something going on out in the solar system that, or there's something going on in the atmosphere because Venus and astrology go hand in hand. So both of those stories were simultaneously released. Yesterday, they're trying to make it seem as if Barack Obama is going to go to jail. And of course, this is the part of the Q-op and folklore that they told about that story about all of, you know, they keep telling you every single day that retribution is coming. And that's become today's age of Jesus is coming to save you. Just keep waiting on it, right? But they tell you that Barack Obama is going to get arrested. And that same day, Ozzy Osbourne died. And so they're telling you like, and in that retrospect, it's a Prince of Darkness psyop communication and that whole deal. Ozzy Osbourne was just in the news like a week ago doing a concert. Now they're telling you that he's dead. And he was 76. There's been all kinds of, just look up the people who have died recently at 76. That number means something, by the way. Like between astronomy, numerology, and those different things, you're being communicated daily from these stories based off of those two things.
Yeah, the Obama news got me thinking whether I would be safe or not, because my book has something very bad to say about him.
Yeah, it has to. It has to. They're foretelling you. They're foretelling you what's going to end up happening to him. He's got a humiliation ritual that's happening right now as we speak. And who knows? They could fake arrest him today or tomorrow, but I doubt it. You know, these are just psyops. It's just like what they did with the people a year ago. They made people think that Trump was going to go to jail. Remember that? He went to court like 200 times. He has 50 felonies on his record. And he ended up walking free and becoming president. This is what they do.
Yeah. Anyway, I think we should discuss about these events, these elements in another episode, because I'd like to hear, and I got a few things to say myself about them. And mostly questions. Like I got lots of questions, not many answers. And and we maybe we call it the day today. And next Thursday we will discuss about the elements, perhaps. What about it?
Sounds good.
Okay. And for the folks who haven't fallen asleep and are still there, If you enjoyed the video, let us know, leave us a like, a subscribe, but also most importantly, leave us comments. I want to know what your take is. If we need to go on meds or anything, anything else in between, going on meds or just keep doing the great job, it would be fine.
Yeah, the one thing I want to know
watching.
too, real quick, Alex, the one thing I want to know too is if there's a subject that you want us to talk about, to leave that comment. Yeah, we'll try to address it as best as we can.
And also, because Street Shaman, like you guys may have it's implicit, shaman. If you want some kind of healing or anything that you may want, maybe just let us know, because he's a shaman after all, and he may help. So let us know what you would like from a Street Shaman, and the Street Shaman, I'm sure, will be more than happy to work on it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I've taken a lot of time to heal myself, and there is no coming to consciousness without pain. Like the more pain that you feel and the more that you're able to overcome, the better healer that you are. And I'd like to think that, you know, I've gone through a lot of pain, which has been very hurtful, but I've healed myself from it as best as I could. And I'd love to give anybody any tips out there, what it has to do with health, or trying to heal something in your spirit. No expert by any means. All I can do is give you some breadcrumbs and help you lead you to yourself. So yeah, I'm available for that. I'm not on social media or anything like that. I don't get myself involved in social media. I have an anonymous account, which I follow the news in case a hurricane or tsunami is coming. But other than that, you can reach me on here or by my email.
Yeah, you can reach the Street Shaman even through the contact form of the website. It's fine. I'll tell him. Okay, so if you don't mind, you can stay after we stop recording. Maybe we have a few things to share again. And for the remaining listeners, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on another episode next Thursday. Bye.